All right, so what we're going to do next, there's a new tool that I am playing around with to create AI agents. Relevance is a tool, it's a company based out of Australia. And it is, I know it's got this cute little emoji. It is actually probably one of the most intuitive but comprehensive AI agent building tools I've used so far. Now, one of the previous classes we talked about dust.tt, which is what I have been using to manage about 40 plus different AI agents that I've created. And I'm using these AI agents on everything. Some of the use cases we talked about when you're hiring, when you're interviewing, whenever you have to give feedback. Was it JP Morgan announced globally that you can use the JP Morgan AI agent for doing reviews, good and bad, right? Good thing, maybe it makes it a little bit easier. Bad thing, you're probably getting worse feedback now than ever before. That's a whole nother topic. The point is, using these AI agents as part of your daily workload, you start to think, how can I use this? How can I automate some of my life workflows? So, Relevance, there's a free version of it, so everybody can try it out, create your own AI agent. Relevanceai.com, Australian company. Um, and remember my cheat code. Whenever I want to do anything, I use Comment. And Comment allows you to agentically control your spree. So, say for instance, like almost every single person on this call, you've never used Relevance AI in your entire life. And you're like, I don't know how to use this tool. JP's telling me to download some other nonsense and it's going to take me 10,000 hours to figure this one out. I don't have any time. So, what do? Create an AI agent as a financial analyst. Let's see what it does. So you saw it went blue. That means that Comet has taken over the browser. And just like a human, it is literally going to do a step-by-step creation of my AI agent. So again, if you're like, hey, I don't know how to use these tools, I don't have time to figure it out, I don't know where the 10,000 buttons are, Comet browser is free. Gemini, we're going to look at one of their new browser implementations a little bit later. We'll probably do a whole class. ChatGPT's Atlas is useless. I've used it multiple times, complete waste of my life. It'll give you a summary of what's on the page. It can kind of tell you, like, if you want like a news update across different pages, great. But this is incredible because it's literally going to do, see, look at this. It created a to-do list, create the description, configure the instructions, add relevant tools, add knowledge base, set up triggers. I didn't tell it to do anything other than creating an AI agent as a financial analyst. How the heck is it doing this? Well, what it's going to do is it's going to look around on the screen for all the buttons, but it also is a search engine. So Perplexity is the name of the company that owns it. What it will do is it will go into the help files and online to figure out how to use relevance while it's simultaneously taking over the screen and doing all the steps for you. Now, could I do this faster? Yeah, if I knew the tool, but if I don't know the tool, guess what? It's going to do it for me. I didn't know that there was an Excel add-in that it could add that in there. Well, I said that it needs to create a financial analyst, so it's going through step by step, filling the form. You can actually see by zooming in on each one of these different steps, create a name. It's going to go through this entire checklist. And this is actually an update from the last two classes. Before, it would just take control and try to figure it out. Now what it's doing is it's figuring out checklists that would be intuitive to do each one of these things step by step. And look, it added in Excel into the account. Well, I'm not going to allow it to actually set up with my direct account right now, just because it'll be a lot of time to do it. But like I said, you can create an AI agent without knowing anything about how to create an AI agent. So yes, maybe you like Copilot Studio, maybe you like Dust.tt, maybe you like Relevance, maybe you like any of these tools, but you don't have the time to figure it out. What I'll do is I'll set it and forget. Now, caveat to forget. Most of us on this call have very senior administrative rights on your tech stack. Because if you're in senior leadership or an executive or a CEO or entrepreneur, your username and password has control over all your systems. Okay. Not everybody, but most people on this call. Do not set it and forget it with things that are requiring security. Okay. Because guess what? If it gets really bored and creative, and you set it and you let it take access to, say, Azure or GCP for Google or your Amazon Web Services, it will wreak havoc and destroy potentially everything. I think this was a conversation that was asked or a question that was asked last time. Yes, you should be monitoring stuff where it requires some monitoring because you don't really know what it's actually going to do. Now, I'm going to stop it here because this is going to take forever. But if you just look at what's been created so far, it created the agent and it's created step by step instructions on the AI agent as an analyst, told her responsibilities, how to do the analysis. Now, obviously, you can always edit this and make it better, but in effectively a matter of like a minute or two, it created the agent. I didn't know how to use this. Technically, I know how to use this, and it, you know, did all the step by step. So, what is next with relevance? So, you've created the AI agent. The next thing that you want to do is you want to see, does it work? So, Claire Johnson, she was the former COO of Stripe, and she was a senior Google product manager, I believe. And she wrote a great book called Scaling People. It's an incredible book. It's a pretty dense book, but it's step by step on how to build a successful company like Stripe. So, I'm a big admirer of hers, and I downloaded all this information off the internet, notes that I have about the book, content, and stuff that I could get access to. So, I can say at Claire, which was created just like I showed you before. Tell me best practices for scaling startup. Uh, so it's going to use the Claire Johnson AI agent that I created before. And I'll go in to show you actually the agent. Yeah, close out the assistant. This card changes here. So I created this Claire AI agent and I used an LLM to basically take information from her book, quotes, information from the outline, her principles, everything about her to create this AI agent. And then added knowledge and information that you can upload, like content from her book. And then what it's doing is it's going to search that content and information that I provided to build a very personalized, effective output based on the agent. Now, the other cool thing is you can select which model that you want to use. So, for example, they've got their own models. Obviously, they will use those models. But if you like ChatGPT 5.1, if you like Claude, if you like Gemini, if you like any of these other tools that are out there, you can select the model that you like the most. Now, if you're using for this live production, you've got millions of customers and you're doing a lot of chatting and messaging, you don't want to use a high cost tool. You would want to use like a low credit type consumption tool, maybe like Haiku. Where's Haiku? I saw it here. You don't want to use any of the big, let's see, you can actually say credit cost. And so you can go from highest, you can use OSS, any of these small the ones. There's and but the point is that you can go through and select whatever model you want, which is a really good option depending on what kind of output that you're trying to create. Let's see if this agent is done. Okay. Based on lessons from leaders who scaled, it's going to give me a step-by-step foundation based upon the principles of her book. Now, I know everybody's here is wants to be a 10 billion market cap company. Maybe that's too small for you. But the point is that this is more customized. Now, this is not actually how I use Claire Johnson AI agent. When I am creating a career path for an employee, I know many of you have had to do this where you're like, got this employee, they're new in the company. I want to figure out what's going to happen for the next 90 days, next 1 year, next 5 years. Here's a roadmap. I use a Claire AI agent all the time for that, for a lot of career pathing. The other tool that I use is I created a tool based on the book Top Grading. Yep. Same thing. Use the methodology, did a deep research framework on it. Just because I have 5 seconds, I'm going to show you Parallel.ai. We've used this before in class. Parallel.ai is the number one research model out there, full stop. Period. It blows away everybody. It blows away deep research by Gemini, by ChatGPT. Um, it is dramatically better and more efficient, and they give you like $100 of free credit. So unless you're using this in production, you're probably not going to run out of that credit. So if you're like, hey, I want to do research on Claire Johnson, and I want to build a very comprehensive research for my knowledge base for my AI agent, Parallel.ai, hands down, the absolute best for building out any type of research content. Or if you've got a big presentation, you want to get an enormous amount of very comprehensive. For those of you in YPO, I was bored and I had a lot of free time, so I raised my hand to be the Georgia learning officer or incoming for the state. So with all my free time, and one of the things I did was I said, what are all the best practices of all the YPO chapters globally on being a learning officer? And I had a bunch of bunch of other friends in YPO that told me, hey, here's some good things, here's some bad things, here's what you should do, here's what you should not do. So I took all that and I put it into Parallel.ai to build a very comprehensive research on what are best practices. And it can take, if you're using the max version of this, not that one. Let me use the deep research. They have Ultra 4. I think they have Ultra 8. I can't see it on the screen right now. But this can take the highest level, I think it's Ultra 8, can take like 2, 3, 4 hours. So like I said, make sure you get a good quality prompt. Use a prompt optimizer before you're going to use a hardcore research tool, because God forbid you put the wrong stuff in. 2 hours later, you get nonsense coming out. Again, this is a great use case where you're going to use a prompt optimizer.